Hi, my name is Riley Allen. This is my review of Season 1, Episode 2 of Stranger Things titled The Weirdo on Maple Street. No, it's Chapter 2, The Weirdo on Maple Street. For some reason, they're adding chapter for some reason. I don't know. So, Stranger Things kind of works on a group basis. This group's doing this, that group is doing that, this person's over here, and that person's right there. So, Joyce's storyline this episode is waiting for Will. Like, in the last episode, her phone rang and she got a call and it was Will. So this episode, she's got a new phone. She's waiting for the call. The call happens, it fries the phone like last time. Only this time, he starts to use the lights. She goes into his room where a song is playing. And immediately, arms start ripping out of the wall, and my girl Joyce would have probably survived a horror movie, because she noped right the fuck out. The only reason she went back in the house is because, Mama Bear gonna Mama Bear. She saw the lights flickering again, so she went back in. We get a nice little bonding moment with Jonathan and Will in a flashback, where he was using music to drown out the screaming, the arguing of their parents. Jonathan's storyline, he initially started going to his father's house to see if he's there. He was checking everywhere. And honestly, Lonnie's a piece of shit, but he's a funny piece of shit. I audibly laughed when, after checking the hood, the trunk of the car, Lonnie sarcastically asked, "You gonna check out my ass too?" He proceeded to greet his son, Jonathan, not with a hug, but with a shove to the wall. The hug came after. Good old Lonnie. Then Jonathan handed him a missing flyer of Will, and oh my god. Here's a picture just in case you forgot what he looked like. Damn, that guy deserved it. That guy deserved worse, actually. Honestly, and then his girlfriend looked at him and said, "He's kind of cute. Maybe I should trade in for the younger version." What, ma'am? That is a teenager. Never you mind. It's an adult playing a teenager. That is a teenager. That's not okay. What? And that's just glossed over. I think that was supposed to be a funny moment, maybe? I don't know. That didn't hit. Steve is still a douchebag. Tammy, Carol, I think her name is, Nancy and Barb witness Jonathan putting up flyers in the school. So, and they start kind of like, damn, I wonder if he killed him. Like, dude, what the hell? So, Steve's parents are out of town, so they're having a party, and they invite Nancy and Barb, mostly Nancy. Nancy convinces her parents with a lie that she's going to some memorial thing for Will or whatever. So she goes with Barb. And she proceeds to, Barb really does not want to be there. You can tell. She's only there for Nancy, kind of. And, she hits him with the straight and narrow. Steve only invited you over to get in your pants. Yeah. And I do love the funny cutaway. The door opened, Steve opens the door and it cuts to Hopper in bed with a one-night stand or whatever. For a second, I was like, damn, they work fast. Because I was, for a second, assuming Nancy and Steve. And I was like, damn. I was fast. So, part of the party is they're drinking beer and shotgunning it or whatever. I think it is. And Nancy proceeds to peer pressure Barb into doing it. Don't be like Nancy. If your friend doesn't want to drink beer or any alcohol or smoke or whatever, don't peer pressure them. You do it. If you want to do that, that's on you. Just don't. That's some sick shit behavior. No. Well, she does it, and she cuts herself. You know, she kind of goes to the bathroom to clean herself up. While Carol, Tommy, Steve, and Nancy have fun playtime in the pool, and then the fun playtime goes to the bedroom. All the while, creepy motherfucker Jonathan over here has been peeping Tom in the whole interaction like a creeper just standing in the woods. Now, to his credit, he initially was in the woods, you know, tracking the crime scene of Will's disappearance, and he ran when he heard a scream. To his credit, that's where the credit ends, because he did not leave once he realized there was nothing going on. That is where my sympathy for Jonathan ends. Just a weirdo. Weirdo behavior. Jonathan is the weirdo on Maple Street, okay? That's how that is. And he witnesses Barb get got by the Demogorgon. Like, the Demogorgon didn't even give this girl time to scream. So, the Hopper storyline, he finds Benny's body, which Benny was killed by the lab people. Also, last episode, I was wondering how the hell they figured it out. Like, do they have their phones tapped? And I realized, and this answer, it did. They do have all the phones tapped, because we saw them listening to a conversation of Joyce's, which was her and Will. So it implies that, yes, all the lines are tapped, and there is several people just listening to all the incoming calls. And I'm assuming it's just like maybe Hawkins, Indiana, plus a little, maybe greater area. I don't know. Anyways, that did answer my question, and I did love that scene, because, it gave us answers how they got Benny. They find, Benny's, situated in a suicide, and Hopper's kind of, not really believing it. They end up, searching in the woods for Will, because, fucking Callahan, I think his name is, one of the cops, asked one of Benny's friend, Earl, if 11 could be Lonnie's kid, Will. So now they're searching in the woods behind Benny's, or near Benny's, and Mr. Clark finds a small little fabric of 11's hospital gown. Side note, I'm pretty sure it was kind of dark out or whatever. Even if it was dark out, that was a small fabric. This man was on his hands and knees just scouring. We need to give... either his eyesight is just that good, or this man was literally on his hands and knees scouring for evidence. Either way, Mr. Clark needs to get his flowers. So, back to the technically real weirdo on Maple Street. It's technically 11, but no, it's definitely Jonathan's creepy stalker peeping Tom ass. So, Mike is kind of showing himself to be a really empathetic character, so to say. Or at least to 11. He seems to, he gives her, clean clothes. And then he makes a plan for her to get safe. By, telling her she's gonna go out, in the house in the morning and introduce herself to his mom, and his mom will know what to do. Side note, Mike's giving his mom a little credit. Yep. Mom's mom. She'll know what to do. Honestly, she's just gonna do what Benny Hammond did and call Benny did and call CPS. And then she gonna get got too. So it's kind of good that Elle didn't do it. So Mike plays hooky, and he learns that Elle has powers. And Elle knows Will. So they have a good rallying moment with Dustin and Lucas, where they all figure out what's going on. And Lucas is kind of like, I guess they needed a non-believer, so they have Lucas be the asshole. And he's trying to, send her to back to the loony bin where he assumes she's coming from. And there was a funny thing where it was like, he mentions the mental asylum, and Dustin hits him with oh, got a lot of family there? So, Elle picks out Will's character and then flips the board over, plops him down, which signals he's upside down, but they don't really understand it. Then grabs the Demogorgon, slams that down, and says he's hiding from that. I'm gonna be honest. This episode kind of wasn't as good as the first one. I don't think it was in any way, in my opinion. I don't know. Something about it. It just didn't hit me in the same way as the first one. My favorite moment is, I guess, Mike and Elle's scenes. Mike is being like an empathetic person to Elle, kind of understanding her at her own pace, like, no, yes, I understand those words. I'll make sure to ask those questions that are yes and no. Bad men, of course, we don't want the bad men here. Least favorite scene. Jonathan's peeping Tom shtick, whatever. Yeah, that's just... because I'm pretty sure we're supposed to like Jonathan, and that's not a very likable scene. Overall, I'm going to give this episode a 6 out of 10. Thanks for watching the video. Leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you in the next video.